All right, welcome everyone. Casting Division A West tonight, and I have Dax joining me. We're going to be casting Fox and his carries versus Fancy Flightless Fowl. How are you doing tonight, Dax?
I am doing well. How are you, Jazzy?
I'm fantastic. Busy day, but a good day. These teams are pretty much ready to go, so let's quickly go over these map selections before we get into game number 1. We did have Fox and his carries win that coin toss, and they opted to go with first pick. They banned away Volsky and Alterac, so we won't see those maps tonight. On the side of Fancy Flightless Fowls, banning away Cursed Hollow and Dragonshire, and since Fox and his carries is going with that first pick, they had the map pick option, and we're going to Battlefield of Eternity for game number 1. I'm going to let them know we're ready to get into this, and I'm excited to see how this plays out.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite maps here. You can do the burn, you can do the team fight thing, but this map I've seen, Uther, double support Uther in the 4-man. I've seen Thrall in the 4-man going to Crash Lightning up here in the higher ranks of the divisions. So this one I think you can just kind of, 2-lane map. You necessarily don't have to quote-unquote win your lane, so they can bring some different stuff into these team fights.
Got Poppy in the chat. How you doing? Hey, Slex. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting to see how teams draft this because you always need a little bit of burn, at least for the early game, because death timers are so low that if you don't have some kind of decent burn for Immortal, even if you end up winning the team fight, the other team can end up burning the Immortal quicker. But you don't necessarily want to spend the entire draft just around Immortal burn because you need to focus on your team fight as well. There's a lot of team fights that happen on Battlefield of Eternity.
Absolutely, and this is maybe one of 2 maps that I would consider taking Artanis on, personally. But we're going to see that Greymane again, burn, really good burn. Going to see that first ban here.
Yeah, just a popular hero in general as well. Anna taken away now from the side of Fancy Flightless Fowler. They're going to ban that out of here.
And then it looks like Alfie does play a Greymane, 100% win rate this season on the Greymane, so good on the map and a good target ban as well. So, really taking care of 2 birds with 1 stone there.
All right. It's going to be that Rainer ban coming out from the side of Fox and his carries. Again, just another
Rainer
decent hero for burn on Immortal, but also doesn't give away too much of your draft if you're to first pick him here.
Yeah, I was gonna say he kind of fits. I love Rainer a lot. He fits into a lot of different team comps. I'm kind of like the Swiss Army knife. Him and Deckard, I think, are 2 really good heroes that you can kind of, like you said, pick, and you don't really give a whole heck of a lot away. And then there's that Diva ban for the last ban in the first round here. Maybe until tomorrow. Looks like we may be getting a patch tomorrow.
All right, and the ETC is going to be the first pickup for the side of Fox and his carries tonight.
Yeah, really good, strong hero. You can boot people back into the Immortal Stun and then come level 13, depending on, I'm going to assume, a mosh pit. But you can almost have that mosh pit up almost every single team fight.
Vala getting picked up on the side of Fancy Flightless Fowl and Brightwing as well. So many Fs tonight.
Yeah, Fox this time. I mean, I think you and I casted 3F last time. And
yeah.
You did tremendous. Like I said, I just shortened it to the 3 Fs without having to do that tongue twister there.
There we go, Hanzo and the Anduin getting picked up on the side of Fox and his carries. Hanzo provides pretty good poke for the Immortal and some burn as well. And then Anduin, I mean, we kind of seen Anduin getting picked up much more now that Deckard's been nerfed. And Bloodlust has been nerfed on the Rhaegar. He's kind of shown back up in the meta. So nothing too surprising over there. I do love me a good Hanzo player, though.
Yeah, I can't ever get the hang of his auto attack. It just feels like it takes an eternity.
Right.
Playing some of the other playing the other auto attackers, and you can kind of get into a rhythm with the stepping, the stutter stepping there. But with him, I can't get the hang of it.
It does feel really slow, yeah.
All right, and let's see what we're going to pick up here. Still need a tank, maybe a mage. Could see a Chromie here. Li Ming is still on the board. She does a tremendous amount of immortal damage here. Maybe Diablo. This is a pretty decent Diablo map here.
well, you called it. It is that Diablo getting picked up here, as well as the Tassadar on the side of Fancy Flightless Fowl. Fox and his carries wasting no time locking in their 4th pick. That's going to be the Li Ming going over to the side of their team.
Yeah, I mean, Tassadar putting walls down, allowing, like, they don't even need to be anywhere near a wall with that combo there into a Brightwing Polymorph. Just a ton of damage in the Wombo combo coming out on the side of Fancy Flightless Fowls. And, ooh, a Samuro pick here on the last pick for Fox and his carries.
My blades are yours.
I'm going to see that Sonya pick up from the side of Fancy Flightless Fowl. I kind of like this pick here, especially since you know that Samuro is likely going to be in their off laner. You have 3 bodies to heal off of when you spin. It seems like a pretty good pick into Samuro.
Yeah, I have nothing else to counter argue there, and she is sneaky good, depending on the build, sneaky good on the immortal damage as well.
We have Lake Mine in chat. Nara, Ender, welcome. Thanks for coming to watch the cast tonight. I'm sure these teams appreciate the support.
All right. Any particular team comp you like better here?
You know, I'm kind of liking Fancy Flightless Fowl right now. I think they have some good synergy going on with the Diablo Tassadar, and even the Vala can kind of volt forward to close that distance on whoever Diablo decides to dive. My only thing that I will say is I'm not the biggest fan of Brightwing. However, I have seen her work several times and been proven wrong about her, so maybe she's not as bad as I feel she is.
Yeah, I think it's probably, like you said, it probably just depends on who's playing the Brightwing. She can see in and separate, disengage for her team, but it looks like she wants to engage with her team, so I guess she can Z in from catching soak in a different lane, and then just provide some heals and some polymorphs and some other things like that as well.
All right, well, here we are, game number 1 of our best of 3 series between Fox and his carries and Fancy Flightless Fowl. On the left-hand side, we have Fox and his carries with Majesty on the Li Ming, Infa-Fox on the Hanzo, Patience playing the Anduin, Yawners on the ETC, and Super Tai on the Samuro.
All right, and on the right-hand side in the red trunks for Fancy Flightless Fowls, we have Alfie on the Vala, Gingy Boy on the Diablo, Gingy Mex on the Tassadar, Batman on Sonya, and Zombie. So good it's named twice on that Brightwing.
Of course, we got that Vala opting to go for Q build here at level 1, as we can see on the talent picks. And Hanzo is taking the simple geometry at level 1 as well, so he's looking to get those stacks on his scatter arrow.
Yeah, and I believe that is like the PvE build. I mean, I know they nerfed that a couple times, but I think that's, if I remember correctly, I think that is the
I still don't usually see Hanzos take that anymore because of the nerf. Good. Diablo getting quite low there, and that's going to be first blood going over to the side of Fox and his carries, getting that pick onto the Diablo. Yeah, I still don't really see that build picked very often, if at all. I usually see the the arrow build or just the auto attack build on him.
Right. So yeah, a whole bunch of poke coming out onto that Diablo there. A little squishy, not having too many souls there. We're going to see ETC maybe looking for a...
There's Hanzo already getting 12 stacks on that level 1 quest.
That's nuts. That's just him and Medivh. It just seems like too much work to want to have fun for me. I'd rather just pick somebody else.
So you have Tassadar stacking as well. He did opt to take that static charge at level 1, so he's sitting at 5 of the 200 stacks. That one's a little bit slower of a quest to come online than Hanzo's level 1, but, he's scaling.
Yeah, absolutely. We're looking ahead to the late game here. Majesty just, doing what Li Ming does is just kind of poke from different angles to kind of get some early siege
There's
damage.
a power slide out onto the Diablo.
Coming out.
He cues the ETC into the towers there, but Leap of Faith is going to save ETC, and Vala going in trying to secure that kill, but unfortunately is going to have to back off as Hanzo and Li Ming really pressuring her there with the damage. Just want to take a look at this top lane here. It does seem like Sonya is just owning in the top lane right now. Super Tai quite low on health, and the wave pushed up to his wall constantly here. We're gonna
and we're Oop, go ahead.
We're going to see both teams off pick up their bruiser camp here. 3 members of Fancy Flightless Fowl grabbing the camp on the red team, while we have another 3 on the side of Fox and his carries grabbing their camp pretty much at the same time here.
All right, yeah. I'm not seeing either which way on top or bottom, but maybe if we get a pick here right before the Immortal, we might be able to see one team rotate on one of these here.
Does look like Fox and his carries are setting up to just start burning right away. We have Hanzo and Li Ming and Anduin on that Immortal right now, while the side of Fancy Flightless Fowls also getting a little bit of burn here while some of the members clear up the bottom bruiser camp. This is going to be the halftime reach though for Fox and his carries.
All right, Fox is going to have to back for a little bit of mana there. Majesty is about half low also on that Li Ming, but they should be okay. A little head on the race that is going to force Fancy Flightless Fowls onto the defense here.
Yeah, all 5 members here for the moment, but Walla has backed off now to start the burn on the side of the Blue Immortal here. We do have Samaru, sorry, getting caught in the back line here as he tried to flank around. So they get the pick on a Samaru, but lose the Immortal here. Sonya this entire time pushing that top lane, trying to get some value there. Immortal is coming top though, so it's going to be cleared up pretty quickly here. And a little bit of a skirmish going on in this middle.
Yep, task wall coming out just to kind of disengage that. Good task wall there. But it looks like the Batman's going to rotate down here. They're going to re-engage here. They're going to see the polymorph come out onto that Hanzo. Just the wallbang and flip knocking that trait available, and down goes Hanzo.
It's really interesting to see what things actually stop Hanzo in his jump and which things don't. So you saw him get polymorphed as he was jumping, so he's flying through the air as a little animal. But other things like a swap or something like that, and he goes to where he was, right?
Yeah, he can jump over
or
it.
Stuns,
I think the same thing with Murden, yeah.
It's weird, yeah.
All right.
They made short work of that Immortal.
Yeah, like, great defense, only losing, 1 tower, and, their sight wall there, the middle wall is holding on by a thread.
Yeah, they are picking up
the top camp.
This top siege camp here, side of Fox and his carries a little bit late on checking that, but ETC coming through now, hitting that power slide, and Diablo kind of jumping onto him. He's getting quite chunked. Have the wall jump coming out from the Hanzo, and they're backing off here. They've already taken quite a bit of damage. They still need to defend this siege camp.
Alright, Sony's just waiting for the tap, but she's going to be able to rotate down here. As we see the 2 of them, just Samuro and Sony, they're just trade back and forth. So, back up to the top.
I was going to say, Vala now has that level 7 talent up, so her Immortal race is going to be a bit better for this next objective coming up. ETC getting quite chunked here, trying to kind of zone for his team to help clear up this siege camp. Wallstun goes out onto the Hanzo. He is going to be able to jump over the wall to disengage as Vala gets some nice damage out onto this ETC here. And here comes another wall stun. That's Diablo picking off the Hanzo there right before objective comes up. We have 26 seconds before it spawns in. Hanzo comes back up in 12, so he will be up in time for this objective, but it's going to give them a little bit of a man advantage and maybe even a start to this Immortal as he spawns in. Sonya is capping this bottom siege camp right now. Not sure if Samaru has eyes on her and knows what has happened, but he's about to find out that that's going on here as he goes in to check it out. The entire team is rotating down, though.
Bad place. Oh, maybe not. It's doing that Samaru thing.
Slippery Samaru getting out of there, even though the whole team rotated down on him, and Hanzo is starting the burn already. He gets a little Immortal stun landing on him, so he needs to be a bit careful because the rotation's coming out, and there's the wall stun from the Diablo. Leap of Faith coming out to save him from the Anduin, and the burn is on the side of the Blue Immortal here. Level 10's now up and available for Fancy Flightless Fowl as they start chunking down this Immortal. We do have Rain of Vengeance from the Vala, Apoc from the Diablo, Archon being picked up by the Tassadar, Wrath of the Berserker from the Sonya, and Blink Heal being picked up by the Brightwing. And they're going to continue just to burn this down, as level 10 still haven't been hit by the side of Fox and his carry, so they don't really want anything to do with this contesting here. They're going to try to grab this Bruiser camp, but again, they don't have those level 10s. We have the APOC combo coming out Hanzo getting quite low, but able to jump over that wall and escape here. Alfie actually looking like he might be in a bit of danger. But Li Ming getting stunned, and now the follow-up damage. She's looking to try to get those resets, but unfortunately not working out for her. They get that pick onto Li Ming before the Immortal spawns in, and also steal that Bruiser camp from Fox and his carries. This is a pretty healthy Immortal.
Yeah, absolutely. But we're going to see all of the CC coming out now on the side of Fox and his carries. We're going to see Hanzo Arrow, we're going to see the Light Bomb, and we're going to see that mosh pit. So they got to be careful here with this engage.
And be careful with the wave, of course. You don't want to knock people out of a nice mosh with it.
Oh yeah.
But other than that, they have a ton of nice like follow-up CC, a mosh into an arrow into a light bomb. They all work super well together. So I'm excited to see if they can get some cool wombos.
All right, and now they are all hands on deck on the bottom here. They're probably looking for that combo because we're going to see Blade Storm coming out as well just to dump all that extra damage. And there goes Arrow, not going to be able to connect with anybody. But Yonder's in the back looking for a mosh pit. He's going to pop that there, but great E by the Diablo, timing that just properly. But Yonder's getting really low. Down goes ETC as we're clearing out Samro duplicates here.
Stun going out onto the Anduin as well, followed up by the Rain of Vengeance and the Polymorph, and they're just going to secure a second kill here as they push onto this bottom keep.
And then Sonya just doing Sonya things up on top there. With that Immortal, they were able to get down at least one keep wall and both forts there.
I kind of like how this game is playing out because if I recall properly, Fancy Flightless Fowl is kind of seated in a little bit lower on Smiley's tier list for Division A West. And they're kind of being pretty dominant in this game. As far as I know, Fox and his carries are considered a little bit higher seated than this team. So to see Fancy Flightless Fowl show up this week and be pretty dominant in game number 1 is kind of exciting.
Yeah, I mean, I know we cast one of those games last week and they looked really impressive there. It's I can't remember if he did say that they were a newer team or not, but so the continuity is a big thing. A lot of teams, midway through the season, towards the end of the season, they can really hit their stride and get comfortable playing with one another. And they may be one of those teams.
Going to see that bottom siege camp getting picked up by Fancy Flightless Fowl, and that's the Immortal spawning in 25 seconds here. Bruiser camps not up for another minute and a half on the side of Fox and his carries, as that was stolen right after the last Immortal was capped. They're going to try and get a little bit of siege damage in here. Diablo sitting on that bush, making sure to scout the rotation. And now back off to set up for Immortal here.
Yeah, no, not 13's not online for Fox and his carries there, so I like that call there. I thought they were going to maybe try and put a little more pressure onto that keep, but smart decision. Not wanting to be caught under their tower and lose a fight up a talent tier. So, like you said, they're just going to start dumping damage on this Immortal, and their race is just impeccable between that Bala and the Tassadar there.
Yeah, almost a halftime now. We do have that APOC coming out. Combo looking to be landed onto Ando, unfortunately. Pops that Gladiator's Medallion and able to back off. Light Bomb coming out, connecting onto the Diablo. And now the Power Slide also hitting the Diablo and Sonya. No picks, though, and instead, it's just going to be, a bunch of damage traded back and forth. Sonya getting kind of low in this engage. Tassadar also taking a little bit of damage, but nobody dying here. So we got Sonya backing up to hit the tap, and Diablo's going to sit around their Immortal, trying to defend it a little bit here. But the race is on with Bala on the Immortal. They're going to go for that pick onto the Samuru, but Samuru, slippery little guy, is going to be able to get out of there, and Immortal is going to go over in just a moment to the side of Fancy Flightless Fowl. Sonya getting kind of low here. The Brightwing coming in with the teleport to save her, but unfortunately getting caught in the mosh. That's 2 members down on the side of Fancy Flightless Fowl. They do get a counter pick onto that Li Ming. ETC also getting quite low here. Tassadar in his Archon form, pumping out the damage. Light Bomb comes out. It's not going to be enough to save him, though. They do get that pick onto ETC, so that's a 2 for 2 in this team fight, with an Immortal heading top lane in favor of Fancy Flightless Fowl.
Yeah, unlucky teleport in by Brightwing, not able to cancel that, and unfortunately just seeing in right on top of a mosh pit. But it worked out pretty well, 2 for 2 trade. Not the best, but not the worst at the same time. They did secure the Immortal here. Dingy Boy getting a little bit low, so Z should still be on a long cooldown. So they may just try and get this front wall here, maybe forego the rest of the push.
I mean, luckily they had their Vala up. Vala providing quite a bit of siege damage. Here's the phase shift coming out from the Brightwing. It's going to heal up Diablo a little bit, maybe allow them to just stick around in this lane a tiny bit longer and get some damage onto this top keep. Power Slide going out, connecting onto the Tassadar and Vala, but fortunately the rest of Fox and his carries not quite able to follow up on that damage yet, as they're still clearing out the wave and Immortal, pushing onto the keep here. Sonya.
I will say Yonner's. Oops, sorry. I was
Oh,
saying
no.
Yonner's went mic check instead of the encore there. 13 for ETC. You know, I think that's the standard. Was the standard before the little rework there, but you know, getting the extra boot to land the stuns and the Immortal, I like that as well.
Yeah, interesting there. You usually do see the ETCs opt to take Encore. It really provides good value because, I mean, at this point, if you're in a higher division, you usually are keeping track of important cooldowns like Mosh, and taking Encore really makes it hard to keep track of when Mosh is up and available on the enemy team to use. But yeah, we see that he's actually opting to take that mic check, so...
I can't even count spider turn-ins, let alone percentages on, you know, a mosh pit of, you know, a 2 minute.
Oh yeah, no, it becomes pretty impossible to be like, okay, face smell hit 3 people, that's this much % off. Okay, there's 10 seconds.
Yeah, and then the amp hit.
Like you have to be a math whiz to be able to keep track of mosh with that talent.
I just assume it's up every single team fight.
Yeah,
always
pretty
looking for
much.
mosh, that's it.
Here comes the A-pop combo. Li Ming able to teleport away before she's flipped into it here. Unstoppable coming out onto the Diablo. Phase shift coming in to try and save Diablo. No deaths going over yet on Fancy Flightless Fowl, but a couple of them looking quite low here before next Immortal spawns in. This is the time to just back up and take it slowly here, as they have the advantage in the favor. They have those periodic katas spawning in. They're up on levels. They really don't need to kind of push this too much. They are going to... Okay, it just looks like Diablo's going to go tap. The rest of them are going to start the burn onto the Immortal.
Yep, I'm going to see Sonya up in lane here. She's going to rotate down here, but now's the time for them to fight. It's the even Talonteers. You know, they actually are winning in race here, so they can defend, but they won't impress. This mosh pit's going to come out just landing on the Diablos, with the Diablo shaking and moving. Everybody's going to be able to get out of there quite healthily there.
Diablo is in there. Here comes the phase shift again by that Brightwing, healing him up as he's on the back line of Fox and his carries. Meanwhile, Sonya just on that Immortal the entire time, starting to get that shredded down.
Alright, Samuro's going to have to tap here, but he's going to rotate on this back line onto Alfie here and Gigamex. Strategy Boy going to be able to catch him there, maybe?
And this Immortal race a little bit closer than the last ones we've seen. And the red Immortals really starting to get chunked down now by the Hanzo and Samurai that are sitting on that. But pretty even on race right now, and the rest of Fancy Flightless Fowl are now looking to finish off this Immortal. So the race is on here, but it is going to be the Immortal going over to the side of Fancy Flightless Fowl. Diablo on that Anduin now in the backline. Polymorph comes out. We do have the Hanzo arrow there to peel for his teammates. Rain of Vengeance connecting onto the Li Ming as Vala chases down. But again, nobody dying in this last engages.
Yeah, great job by the healers here. It is going to go top, so I like the counter pressure here, looking for both keeps and potentially the game here. We may not even see 20s. Power
Slide connecting out to the Vala, and she's just absolutely deleted by the Hanzo damage. Tassadar getting quite low in this engage. Those resets from Ming coming out. He does pop the Unstoppable. Polymorph goes out onto the Samaru as he does his Blade Storm.
But Hans is going to peel back, though. Immortal is pretty healthy at full health. The shield is down, so now it's their job for Fancy Flightless Fowl to try and stop the backing, if at all possible here. We're going to see the root come out onto Sonya as she's spinning to win here, and we will see the second keep go down, so the Immortal should give them time to get this, and they can get out.
A little bit of core damage going out onto Fox and this carries core here. 26% taken off there from the Immortal. Vala's still down here, so if they stop to take the siege camp, they need to be a little bit careful, as they're going to be fighting for the 5 potentially on the side of Fancy Flightless Fowl. But I think they realize that they're going to just go to their Bruiser camp instead, as Vala's spawning in and be able to join the fight over on the Bruiser camp if Fox and his carries decide to move.
Yep, we're going to see their Bruiser camp. Vala, it looks like Vala's going to rotate top to try to get some more pressure in that top lane here, and we will see them just trying slowly, casually, you know, no rush at all, half a level here till 20s, and then they can look to take a team fight.
All right, Siege Camp now getting picked up in the top by Fancy Flightless Fowl. Also have that Bruiser camp that needs to be cleared out. Vala needs to be a little bit careful on this rotation. Fox and his carries all sitting around, and he's looking for that. Out comes a power slide. It doesn't hit, but the Hanzo arrow is going to connect. Right wing face shifting in to try and save the Vala. Unfortunately going to cost her life here. 2 members down on the side of Fancy Flightless Fowl, and this is exactly what Fox and his carries needed to have happen. They managed to take a fight and get a couple picks before level 20s were up and available for Fancy Flightless Fowl. Now they have an opportunity to kind of clear this up and catch up on XP so that they can fight on equal talent tiers for this next objective.
Yeah, absolutely. What a perfectly timed Hanzo arrow to catch that engage. We thought, you know, Vala had a perfectly timed vault there, but we're going to see Sonya invading. She has to hurry up here a little bit. Samuro is working his way down here, but maybe not super tight. Okay, there we go. She's going to be able to capture and invade that Bruiser camp here.
I love that play by the Sonya. She grabbed some value somewhere else on the map after losing a couple members of her team, and that's actually going to be a lot. It's going to do a lot here because that's pushing onto the core of Fox and his carries during this objective, and there's Katas every wave now, so you're going to have a big Bruiser camp and a bunch of Katas spawning onto the core. Somebody's going to have to deal with that. And now Vala and Right Wing are back up for the fight on the Immortals here.
Absolutely, and Tassadar just he does a great amount of damage on this as well. But here comes Alfie, we're at a halftime. I think they have the race to catch back up here, but like you said, the Super Tie has to go back, clear these catapults, they're going to have to clear this camp. As we see the pressure coming back onto the, here, Batman getting a little bit of trouble, the light bomb's going to come out, the sun coming out from the Vala, Info Fox is going to get wall banged there and deleted up against that wall. Super Tie trying to run away the Q from the Diablo going to come out, and then the E. And then just, you know, Samuro does Samuro things, but down goes ETC and Anduin as well here, and then we're going to see a core call, I think.
Yeah, 3 members down on the side of Fox and his carries. They don't need this Immortal to end the game. They can definitely just opt to go core here, as everybody on the side of Fancy Flightless Fowl is looking pretty healthy for this race onto the core.
Yeah, it looks like they were kind of at odds there. The final call here is to go on onto the core. Looks like some of the team maybe wanted to get the objective here, but yeah, can't be afraid to end here. We're going to see all that damage coming out. Gingy Mech's getting a little bit low there. Going to be, oh my gosh, getting taken down by Samuro there, but it doesn't matter as we see Gingy and Sony start tearing away at this core. 70% shields are down, and we are looking at 20 seconds until anybody else is back up for Fox and his carries, and I think we're going to see GG's coming out here in game 1, going over to Fancy Flightless Fowls.
GG's well played, Fancy Flightless Fowl. No, like I said, this is kind of exciting because I was under the impression that Fancy Flightless Fowls were seated kind of a bit lower than Fox and his carries, so they were very dominant coming into this game. We can look at the kills here at the end, 7-13, so almost twice as many deaths on the side of Fox and his carries. Yeah, what are your thoughts, Dax?
It was a close one. I mean, hats off to Fox and his carries for, you know, taking that fight down, you know, right at them getting 20 there under a tower to almost sway the momentum there. I thought it was going to sway the game there a little bit longer. We'll get a little bit longer into these levels here, but just Li Meng getting all those damage and all the resets coming in here. But just the Immortal burn, I think, like you said, really paid dividends for Fancy Flightless Fowls.
Absolutely. I mean, look at the damage too. Li Meng, you know, doing 20k more than the top damage on the side of Fancy Flightless Fowl, but it still just didn't work out for their team here. Another thing I was a little bit worried for, and something that was mentioned in chat, is, you know, going for that finish there with a Li Meng. If one person dies, there's a chance that the whole team ends up getting wiped from resets, and it did look a little scary for a second, but Diablo able to lock down that Li Meng and get the kill with the help of his team there to make sure that didn't happen.
Yeah, that's that Li Meng reset sound is just the stuff of nightmares. I think we've all been, you know, again going up against a good Li Meng that can, you know, kind of go in there, and I believe he went Calamity as well.
Yes,
he did.
Yeah, Calamity build. Yeah.
All right. Do you think we see any respect bands coming up here in game 2?
You know, maybe the Diablo, if I had to pick one. Just because Vala typically is just a hero that you would pick on Battlefield of Eternity. Outside of that, like, sure, you can play her in other situations, but you don't as often see her picked up outside of Battlefield of Eternity. But Diablo definitely can make him work on several different maps, and with the Tassadar as well, kind of played well into each other, and I think that he was getting a lot of picks and plays there for his team to get, the advantage in these team fights. So if I had to guess one target ban onto Fancy Flightless Fowl, it's going to be the Diablo.
Yeah, not a bad one there. I was actually maybe thinking the Brightwing. I mean, Brightwing out healing in this being the top healer in this game over the Anduin, being able to kind of be that pseudo global appear in fights where she needed to, and just polymorph is just something that nobody really wants to deal with.
Yeah, no, I think the Brightwing also did a fantastic job. I mean, her healing stats speak for herself there. But again, she's just, I don't know. Maybe I should stop saying I'm not a fan of her. Because she always seems to perform well. I just don't think she's worth a ban necessarily. But she was doing a beautiful job of polymorphing the right Samaru. I don't know. So maybe you're right. Maybe we'll see a Brightwing ban coming out. We'll just have to wait and see. Maybe we'll see a Li Ming ban coming out. I mean, the Ming was pretty decent, did a nice chunk of damage. And Hanzo also quite slippery and getting away a lot of the time too, and pumping out the damage as well. It does look like we have... Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, no, I mean, Diablo just picked on Fox on that Hanzo all game. It looked like they were targeting him to see if their carries could actually carry him. I don't know. Maybe he's the namesake of the team. Yeah, I mean, they did a great job just keeping Hanzo contained there.
Let's pop over here, look at these map selections really quick. Tell you where we've been, where we're going. Game number 1, going over to Fancy Flightless Fowl on a Battlefield of Eternity. They did pick that map there as Fox and his carries won the coin toss and went for first pick. Game number 2, looks like Fox and his carries are sticking with that first pick option, giving map pick over to Fancy Flightless Fowl once again, and we are going to Infernal Shrines.
All right. Now, my favorite map compared to the last one, BOE is probably my second favorite. I'm definitely a big fan of both Diablo-style maps, but Infernal Shrines is probably my go-to map here.
All right, looks like teams are ready. Let's get into this.
Yeah, these two teams, heck, it was probably, like you and I agreed, the quickest coin flip. I think it was less than a minute, 2 minutes if we were lucky. I mean, they were in and out, and they knew exactly what they wanted to ban, what they wanted to get rid of. These teams are ready.
Yeah, just some quick shout-outs to chat. Murmura, Slick Grub, Sidorum, Big Muff, Eddie, Rockwell, thanks for hanging out. We have Cookie Monster in chat. I hope you guys are doing well. I appreciate you stopping by, and I'm sure these teams love having you guys stop by to cheer them on as well.
All right, and there is the Diablo ban. Good call by you there, Jazzy. If I was a weenus, if I had a rubber chicken, I would be honking it.
All right, Anna ban being stuck with by the side of Fancy Flightless Fowl. We saw that ban coming out first for them in game number 1, and they're sticking with it here in game number 2. Go FFF. Woo, I believe in you.
Let's go.
Go Fox and his carries. Woo, I believe in you. We got cheering for both teams.
That's usually the stance I take as well, even if I do have friends on either side there. And then that's another Cho ban. So I must have missed the match where Triple F picked up the Cho call, and I'm a little upset by it now. And then there is that Diva ban.
Yeah, I like to cheer for both teams too, because I always want a game number 3. So
absolutely, and we're going to see that tried and true ETC getting picked up by Super Tie this time. Maybe some swaps.
There's that Gray main coming out from Alfie. Didn't you just say he has like 100% win rate on him this season?
Sure does.
Oh man, might be a little scary.
Yeah, gonna do a blow up comp. I mean, Taunt Varian could be. I'm trying to look at tanks here. So Diablo looks to be the main tankist for Gingy Boy. But new Barak with the double stuns.
I was also thinking Imperious as a main tank. I've seen that being run quite frequently, and you land a nice stun, Stukov silence underneath, and a Gray main there to blow him up. Whew. that could play out pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, it appears, Garrosh as well as ETC, like you said, the squishier of the tanks. So you could look to do the front to back build. Would make a ton of sense here. I actually like the idea of that as well. And then Cassie and Deckard getting picked up, 2 really good heroes on this map as well. Little tried and true 3-piece combo there.
Garrosh being banned out by the side of Fox and his carries here. Still need a tank being picked on the side, and a healer on this. Or sorry, just a tank on the side of Fancy Flightless Fowl. Sorry. My Canadian showing, saying sorry like 10 times.
No, it's all right. But yeah, Urel's just, she's just one of those annoying heroes that, can just jump in the back line, be really annoying, and kind of split team fights. All right. Mal'Ganis, not, you don't see Mal'Ganis too much anymore since his talent diversity change. But I like the Orphea coming into this.
Yeah, Mal'Ganis has fallen way off the meta. You don't see him pick ever anymore. So I'm kind of interested to see how it plays out. I mean, you can still have some maybe nice sleep, silent stun combos with him and the Stukov, and tons of damage to follow up on top from Orphea and Greymane.
Oh my goodness, and then a Blaze and a Chromie. There's just a ton of damage going to be dumped into these team fights from Fox and his carries here. But I know a lot of Mal'Ganis like to go Dark Conversion now since they have the medallion up. Get some nice health swaps there, and maybe get some of those kills picked off there. But here comes Leoric. We got that dirty bathtub combo online.
With the silence from Stukov, so who needs level 20s? When you can just silence
an extra
them with
dirty
a
bathtub. Yeah. And then poor Greymane just wants to jump in there, and I don't think it allows him. I might be wrong. I don't know if he wants to be in that bathtub, depending on who's in there with him. But
yeah, you know what too is the side of Fox and his carries don't really have a lot of ways to escape an entomb at level 10. And sometimes you look at the comps here, and you're playing Leoric, and you're like, oh man, they have a Hanzo, they have all these Orphea can actually hit her Q and jump through the wall of it. There's tons of people who can just get out of it by teleporting out or whatever. But not too much of that available on the side of Fox and his carries going into this game. So Entomb probably going to start to get value right at level 10 if he decides to go for it. If he doesn't decide to go for it, I'm going to be kind of disappointed.
Yeah, listen, they picked the dirty bathtub comp with me casting one of their games. It's, I am a fan. I should have wore the shirt. I should always wear the shirt.
All right, well, on the left-hand side, we have Fox and his carries with Majesty playing the Chromie, Yawners on the Cassia, Infafox on the Blaze, Super Ty on that ETC, and Patience playing the Deckard. We're seeing a little bit of a tank swap this time on the side of Fox and his carries. Super Ty did play the Samaru in game number 1.
Yeah, he did. But all right. For the red team, Fancy Flightless Fowls looking to shut this down 2-0. We have Alfie on that famous Greymane, Gingy Boy on the Mal'Ganis, Ginger Metz on Orphea, Batmane on Leoric, and Zombie on Zombie Arm Stukov.
Alright, gonna see that 5v5 brawl in the mid to start out this game. A little bit of damage going out onto the Mal'Ganis. Leoric getting stunned and damage being dropped onto him. Now 3 members stuck in that Deckard route. Leo's gonna Wraith Walk out of there and start to head top to catch that soak. It looks like the teams are just gonna start that 4-man rotation between mid and bottom. Ginger Boy needs to be a bit careful there, already missing quite a bit of health. If a power slide were to go out onto him, I'm sure that the side of Fox and his carries would be able to get the pick there. Stukov's gonna heal him up a little bit though. ETC sitting in this bush ready to catch people on objective. But beautiful bush check coming out from the Stukov to catch him lingering in that bush there.
Yep, I want to see them rotate down. The Super Ty's going to catch us out. I'm not sure if the team will be quick on the rotate, maybe peeling off of their own camp to maybe come in here and try and evade this. Chromie dumping all that damage out there on the W. Okay, it's getting a little bit low, but they're going to be able to sneak away there. And the Dorito coming out there just to maybe try and catch somebody.
I think I did miss a few globes of XP mid to do that, but Lior came down and is catching the soak for them in the mid lane. That kind of enabled them to grab that bottom siege camp without having to worry about missing too much mid. But that wave did crash before he was able to get there, so a couple of globes missed in the mid, but other than that, still pretty even on XP. Stun goes out onto the Mal'Ganis there, but Stukov healing her up, and now Greymane going in for the kill onto the Yawners, and they are going to get that pick onto the Cassie, and that'll be first blood going over in favor of Fancy Flightless Fowl.
Yeah, great trade there. Kind of getting stuck between a rock and a hard place. They weren't able to invade that camp, but just getting that stun onto the Cassia there. And I will say, I did notice this here, but Time Walker's Pursuit coming in at level 1 on the Chromie for the extra spell power and the vision. A lot of hidey points on this map, so it could be easy to kind of catch the enemies in rotation.
You have those bruiser camps up and available to take. Objective spawning in 30 seconds here, so this is typically when you see the teams rotate to grab those, and we do see the Greymane and Stukov on the bruiser camp of Fancy Flightless Fowl right now. It does seem like Cassia and Deckard are making their way over to the bruiser camp of Fox and his carries. So they're going to have two bruisers kind of counter-pushing each other in that top lane unless one clears up the camp before going to objective here. But Fancy Flightless Fowl is already setting up around objective, ready to start the burn. Gets that soak mid and positioning for the fight.
Yeah, right. And Batman's just hard pushing this, going to force Fox up top here, but the second cap will get a little bit of the advantage here because it will get the red teams will get cleared up against this wall, but they also get at least a 10 minion head start onto the first objective.
We have Gingy Boy sleeping the back line of Fox and his carries here. Power Slide goes out, but it does not connect onto the Mal'Ganis. Deckard Brew coming out, and he's kind of got stuck a little bit for a second there. Just a lot of damage being traded back and forth, and no one really getting picked off. That Greymane, though, getting slowed by the oil, is able to pop his Gladiator's Medallion and walk away without getting picked off. 25 to 23 in Skeletal Defenders in favor of Fox and his carries, so Fancy Flightless Fowl needs to get in here. Power Slide going out with the Deckard Root onto the Mal'Ganis, but now he's sleeping. Yawner's in a tough position here. Cassia is going to fall. Only the race is on for these Skeletal Defenders. 32 to 36, 37. Fancy Flightless Fowl is looking to finish that up there, and they are going to secure this first Punisher. This one going to be an Arcane Punisher.
Yeah, Majesty getting really low there on the Chromie, but Leoric not being able to secure her in one location long enough to get the W trait, or I'm sorry, the W talent to get that full chain along there.
That was such a close race for that Punisher. Very back and forth, really exciting to watch that first one.
All right, and getting a wall out of that one, not too shabby there, in a pretty 5-minute Punisher here. As we see them, 7's online for both teams here. We're going to see everybody rotate and grab some camps. Now, I actually like in this particular map, in this point, to actually swap and have the offlaner do some double soaking and get some pressure top with your 4-man.
Yeah, sometimes it just kind of, it depends how it plays out. A lot of the time when the Immortal spawns in mid for first one, it's kind of hard for your offlaner to double soak because you need to be hitting mid and top while they push with the Punisher. But definitely, like, next objective, you want your offlaner going to do the double soak mid-bottom as he's spawning in top here. Siege Camp invade coming out from Fancy Flightless Fowl. They're going to grab the Siege Camp of Fox and his carries in the mid here, as Fox and his carries cleans up that bottom camp. And that's just the power of being able to grab that bottom camp. You're going to have to force the team to decide whether they want to defend the camp in the bottom, miss XP in the mid, or a potential invade onto the camp here.
Yep, so Fox is kind of stuck here. They're going to fork out the camp. The team may rotate up and catch that. But he's kind of like, he's waffling a little bit between mid and top. But he's going to maybe just catch this wave soak and then let the minions take care of the camp there. Not a bad play there by Fox, and rotate back up there, maybe hopefully catch the rest of that soak against the wall.
Power Slide connecting onto the Mal'Ganis there, but he just slept the damage on the side of Fox and his carries. So he's going to be okay here as they look to clear out bottom lane on the side of Fox and his carries. Level 10's now online for Fancy Flightless Fowl. We do have Cursed Bullet from the Greymane. Carry On Swarm being picked up by the Mal'Ganis. Crushing Jaw. Jaws. Whoa, wait, crushing Jaws. Hang on, that's not a dirty bathtub.
That is not a dirty bathtub. I mean, I guess it's being mildly dirty with the silence in there, but it's still not as fun.
Yeah, no, crushing Jaws from the Orpheus and Entomb was picked up by the Leoric, though, and the Flailing Swipe by the Stukov. Oh man, I'm a little disappointed.
Maybe, knock on wood, maybe it was a misclick. I mean, it happens. We've all done it. Still not a bad ult. I mean, he could, it could line up to, a two-man mosh here. I'm sorry, not a mosh
still
pit,
crushing Jaws the
Entomb.
person in the Entomb as well. It's just not as good as an Eternal Feast, I guess. Mal'Ganis getting a little bit caught here. He's gonna pop that sleep and manage to walk away. Yonders needs to be a bit careful. He's getting kind of chunked, but there's tons of potions around to heal him up. Super tie, power sliding out of there. Looking a little dangerous for him there, but he's gonna be able to back up. This next Punisher spawning in top, as we said earlier. Blaze clearing up the Bruiser camp that's been pushing up there by the side of Fancy Flightless Fowl. Needs to be a little bit careful because he is a bit overextended, and there is a rotation coming out for him here by Fancy Flightless Fowl. Here's Elfie dropping some damage onto him. He does land that stun onto the Leoric, and Tomb comes out. They manage to catch the Chromie. She's going to stasis, though. Bunker is dropped, and the silence was out, but it went away before she popped out of stasis, so she's able to get in that bunker and avoid the crushing jaw popping out of it as well. And this is going to be the Mal'Ganis getting picked off here.
All right. Yeah, there goes their front line. They're going to probably have to forego this Punisher here. Now, lucky for them, it is a Mortar Punisher, so not the complete lockdown of the Frozen Punisher, but we're going to see Greymane rotate down here to grab some camps as Leo works hard in the middle of catch and soak and maybe push down this fort.
I mean, here's the thing, you're running a Greymane. Even if you do lose that objective, you could easily just, counter push a lane and instead trade forts. But it does look like Elfie's going to grab these siege camps, give some pressure to the mid lane, but Blaze about to catch him on the siege camp here. Leoric is around, though, so it's going to be a 2v1. They're going to be able to cap this, no problem, leaving Blaze to clear up a lot of pressure in these lanes.
Yeah, and then like you said, Greymane's going to be able to just tear through this Immortal, no problem.
I thought for a second that they were going to hold off and maybe clean up their lanes before finishing off, because they were hovering at 39 for a minute there. But here we go, Punisher going over to the side of Fox and his carries, sieging in the top lane here. It's going to be Leo eating that jump as he pops into Wraith Walk as it comes out. And Tomb once again landing onto the Chromie, but she's going to stasis in there, and there's not really any damage follow-up here. Greymane finally joining in, looking to get that pick onto Chromie, but unfortunately not working out. Ball Lightning is out now, getting a bit of damage onto the Orpheus and Greymane. We have the Stay a While and Listen coming out to try and peel for the side of Fox and his carries.
Yeah, great mosh pit there. Nice mosh attempt, but everyone was a little bit too low and wasn't in position to follow up on that there. So, unfortunate, but to get the team out there is not a bad ult there.
No, take a look at the XP too. Even though Fancy Flightless Fowl did lose that objective, they're still slightly ahead on XP. Fox and his carry's not too far behind though.
Yeah, I know we were hoping for the Dirty Bathtub, but they have a lot of great combos coming out. We're going to see the Lightning with the Mosh Pit and the Slowing Sands, as well as the Stay a While and Listen. So just a lot of damage being going to be able to get pumped out into one specific area here.
Bottom siege camp looks like that's going to be the next fight. 5 members on the side of Fox and his carries down here to pick this up. And they're just going to let them have it because Leoric looks like he's going to be rotating top to clear out the Bruiser camp of Fox and his carries.
Yeah, I mean, structurally, Fox and his carries is in a better position here. Mid fort is getting taken down here a little bit, but they have top wave getting pushed in. Going to have to rotate Leoric up there, so they do have the vision here. They can 5v4 this and potentially get the bottom fort here.
But they also have those periodic katas spawning top, so it's going to be just like constant pressure up there that's going to need to be rotated to cleared out every once in a while on the side of Fancy Flightless Fowls. The Bruiser camp on the side of Fancy Flightless Fowls is up now in the top lane if they want to make a rotation for that. But I think right now at this point they're pinging careful. Oh, it's the help ping coming out from Fox and his carries looking to get that pick on the rotation, and they do find it there. Get that pick on Acacia. The carry on Swarm is out from the Mal'Ganis. bunker also used in that fight. Leoric this entire time just pushing top, continuing to soak for that XP, and you know, get the pressure pushed back a bit there.
Yeah, I mean, they're winning team fights. The past couple team fights, they have been winning down XP. You know, not necessarily talented, but still just down, you know, 1 level or so. But they've caught up really quick here. And we're going to see this XP just kind of even out here come level 16.
We're going to see a little bit of sieging going on this bottom fort. Fox and his carries looking to get that map opened up a little bit more for themselves. Need to be careful because they're mid fort taking quite a bit of damage. Sleep going out, connecting onto the ETC. Cursed Bullet follow up here. Deckard Root coming out is going to stop that Greymane from sticking onto the ETC for a little bit here. Does look like he's going to power slide out of there. And the rest of his team providing that slowing sand and damage to kind of push back Fancy Flightless Fowls. Level 16s are both up and available now for the teams as they go into this next objective. Siege Camp getting picked up on the side of Fox and his carries. That Bruiser Camp still up and available for Fancy Flightless Fowls to grab here. I just want to call them Fowls, but I know it's just Fowl. It's just one. Yeah. There's only one bird.
Just the one fancy bird in his tuxedo. All right, and we're going to have that Frozen Punisher here going to be able to shut down either one of these front forts here, but we're going to see 3 people get caught up in that Chromie time trap, and the slide, I thought that we were going to see the mosh pit there.
What an impactful time trap, catching 3 members, setting up the nice stay a while and listen damage. Chromie, though, unfortunately caught in this in tune now, but it doesn't matter because Mosh is here to save the day. 2 members going down on the side of Fancy Flightless Fowl. The bunker is dropped there, and Cassia looking to try and finish off this Orphea. You know what? I'm just looking at talents. Orphea didn't go chomp at 7. So she didn't take Eternal Feast, and she also didn't go the chomp cooldown. Instead, she went E-Quest.
I mean, I guess it's maybe more of a pokier build. I mean, I guess you're incentivized to get the chomps, but I mean, in theory, you should just be, you know, securing kills with the chomp. But
I'm not a fan. I'm sorry, I'm not a fan of this.
But yeah, they're gonna have to fight for 20 here. I know you said, you know, we were expecting the dirty bathtub combo here, but you know, it's until 20 and that silence in that tomb. You know, ETC is gonna be able to, you know, mosh pit inside that. Chromie's gonna be able to pop her stasis, you know, bunker drop as well. So, you know, they need to just kind of hold this one off here a little bit in hopes for 20, I think.
Fox and his carry is now pulling ahead on XP here, almost a level up on Fancy Flightless Fowl, and starting to open up this map even more. Taking down that mid 4, they're going to have the Periodic Kata spawning there now as well as top lane. So this is going to be...
They're going to push them off a little bit, yeah.
Fancy Flightless Fowl are now going to be the ones that are going to have to try to force and win a team fight pre-level 20, as they are now a bit too far behind on XP to just wait around and hope things play out for them.
Yeah, they have to get these lanes pushed out a little bit and gain control of that bottom bush. The past couple objectives, I mean, Chromie's just been able to put some time traps in there and kind of cut off all the rotations, and it just kind of puts Fancy Flightless Fowls into like one direction, in or out.
A lot of damage coming out onto Fancy Flightless Fowl. We had the Cassia Ball Lightning dropped as well as the Stay a While and Listen. So two ults.
Chromie does so much damage, even with those untalented W's coming out from the Chromie, and then the Ball Lightning on top of it. Just, yeah, they got real low there.
See, Orphea is still only at 19 stacks on that level 7 quest as well. Looking for 30, I believe. Yeah.
All right. We're maybe looking for that pre-20 fight.
Yeah, they need to look for it now. They have 2 ults down on the side of Fox and his carry, so now is the best time to try and force something. Their Bruiser camp's up. It's pretty obvious where they're going to be if they want to try and get that fight. But they're not going for it. They're just sitting in mid.
Yeah, Leo's up top, getting a little bit of that double soak there. Well, not double soak, but still just trying to catch up. But, you know, he is showing on the wave there, and it's going to allow...
do they think they're going to be able to catch up and fight on equal talent tiers for next objective? Is that their plan here?
No, I mean, the lanes are relatively even other than top. I mean, they're going to have to put themselves in a weird situation now to try and catch Choke to get back up to 20.
I really think they should have went for that invade on the bruiser camps. Equal talent tiers. They had all their ults up. 2 ults down on the side of Fox and his carries. It was the best opportunity that they had. Now they need to sit back and wait for level 20s. And they have 2 bruiser camps pushing their top keep here.
And then that's where the objective is as well. So, you know, Fox and his I almost said Fox and his friends. Fox and his carries looking to maybe position themselves to take away game number 2 here.
I mean, we've seen them push down forts, no problem. I was curious to see if they were going to try and push down a keep. But they're going to opt to back up, start that objective. Level 20 is now online for the side of Fancy Flightless Fowl. And this is kind of be their like last-ditch effort here to try and turn this game around. If they do lose this Punisher, this one's going straight to keep, and it's a level 20 Punisher, so it's going to be a bit harder for them to defend here. Level 20 Entomb upgrade, though, so that might be kind of what they need to turn these fights.
And Batman is looking for it here, trying to get on edge on the back line here, try and pressure Fox off onto this, but, you know, really putting both frontliners between him and his team.
I really don't think it matters who he lands it on. He just needs to land it on someone and have his team follow up the damage here. Kind of almost looks like he's trying to land like a god in Tomb because he's holding off on dropping it, even though there's been several opportunities for him to drop it on the front line of Fox and his carries. And Tomb is still up here. He could use it right now.
Oh, there we go.
And that's going to be the ETC dropping after the Entomb goes out. Mal'Ganis, quite low though, is backing up, waiting for the Stukov to heal him up here. The Orc needs to be a little bit careful as well. He's going to get picked off in this fight. Bunker goes down to save the Blaze. And he is back out of it, but Punisher going over to the side of Fox and his carries.
Yeah, I mean, I guess 1-for-1 trade, you know, and I guess it is Leoric. Not the worst one to trade. I mean, he can cheat death here a little bit. He's got to be able to land some of these W's here. But it looks like they're going to go and, you know, maybe they think they're just going to get this keep for free no matter what. So they're going to get some more pressure here in the mid, look for 2 keeps, and then try and boost, open up, and pave the way to victory if they can win another team fight here.
I don't think the top keep's going to go down. Greymane provides quite a bit of damage onto this Punisher. I think they're going to be able to clear it up before it does go down. And it looks like Leo and Mal'Ganis, or sorry, I guess just Mal'Ganis because Leo's still dead, managed to push them back on the mid keep. So no keeps down yet on the side of Fancy Flightless Fowl. I just want to see this Leoric be a little bit more aggressive for these Entombs. He's really just, I guess maybe he was waiting for the Mosh to come out, but I mean, you can easily kill an ETC and a Silence Entomb before he even gets a chance to use Mosh. And I mean, here's the thing, if you're waiting for the Mosh, it means that there's members of your team stuck in the Entomb with them, and so you kind of entombed your own team members, and now they can't get out either. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a tough one, but they're looking on the rotation here. Zombie's getting a little bit close. Don't step up too far, but the blink gonna come out onto the zombie there, and the slide onto him. He's gonna pop that, but it's not gonna be enough. He's gonna get the flame and swipe out of the way there, and Zombie will live. And I love that talent at 20 being able to kind of channel and hold on to those as charges. I love that ability at 20 for Stukov.
Yeah, we just saw Ball Lightning being used as well, so that's down for the moment. And Stukov managing to live through that. Well played by him, using that flailing swipe level 20 upgrade to kind of give him an opportunity to step back, hit it again, step back a little bit more, heal himself up, and then get back behind his fort here to safety. That Bruiser camp now up and available on the side of Fox and his carries, and it does look like they're going to go for that now. Fancy Flightless Fowl is just looking to push out their lanes as their forts, all 3 of their forts are down at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, it is only 5-3 kills here. Just a lot of good positioning and just well done by the healers in this match, keeping their team alive here. So we're going to see, you know, both these teams kind of play safe, kind of just get their own camps here and try not to make the mistake before the next objective here in mid.
nice level 20 upgrades coming out from both sides. The Decker's Stay a While and Listen upgrade, as well as the Carry On Swarm upgrade at level 20. So definitely talents you want to avoid sitting in, because afterwards you're going to be slept for a little while, or silenced, depending which ult you get stuck in.
Yeah, silenced, blind. I mean, I like that pickup, especially with the infinite ball lightning.
Yes.
You know, you can get that nice sleep, and then the ball's going off and wakes everybody up, and it's like, oh, okay, that all got no value. But like you said, that blind and that silence, you know, they have really nothing to do anything with that ball. So ball lightning is going to be able to get a ton of value here. Yeah, as we move on to the objective here in 15 seconds.
And next objective, looking to spawn in mid here, but 10 seconds left until that's up. There is a bruiser camp from the side of Fox's carries pushing top, and that is going to threaten and take the keep if it goes uncontested. Gingerboy getting a little bit caught out here. Stukov dropping that silence to peel for him. Leoric in there, lands that Entomb onto the ETC and is now at the entrance. Bunker comes down, but he is silenced and he is unable to jump into the bunker. They do get the ETC pick there. Carry On Swarm getting interrupted by the Blaze. So that's gone on to a 10-second cooldown. That bruiser camp, though, now pressuring that top keep. They are going to lose that if they continue to have all the members stick around here. Blaze going in for the stun there. And now he has no escape to get out of here. He's getting chunked quite quickly here. Carry On Swarm used by the Mal'Ganis, now in the back line of Fox and his carries. 3 members now down. 4 members now down on the side of Fox and his carries. That bruiser cam taking down that top keep and now pushing onto the core with the help of Akata. Somebody's going to need to back up to clear that in a second.
It looks like Leo's going there, but you know the shields are gone. So they got Akata there doing its thing. But he's going to clear that up just well. We're going to leave the other two just to finish that off as we see Alfie and Gingy Boy just trying to maybe get this keep wall down. You know, ETC is dead for another 5 seconds, 30 seconds for the other 3 members here. So, you know, great split push here to maybe potentially try and end the game here.
Yeah, Greymane opening up this mid lane for this Punisher. Great call from him and Mal'Ganis coming out. They managed to take down that fort and the whole front wall so they can try to get a pick off this jump when the Punisher makes his first jump in the mid keep here. You can just follow that up with a nice sleep, stun, silence, maybe even a crushing jaws as that's up and available. Definitely have a good opportunity to close out this game. Here's that leap. It does go out onto the ETC. Curse Bullet connecting onto him as well. And this mid keep getting chunked down pretty quickly here by the Greymane with the help of Mal'Ganis to eat those tower shots.
Yep, and here comes Leoric. He does have the Entomb. Crushing Jaws is up. We will have Carrion Swarm coming up here again. So we're going to see Leoric trying to eat in here and grab this. There it is, the Entomb on silence onto the ETC. He's finally going to be able to hit that with sleep coming out from the Decker. Everyone in silence. Everyone is blind. Just the lightning ball lightning getting so much value. No stuns available to cancel out the Carrion Swarm, and Batman is just whittling away on this core. We see Gingy Boy, Alfie, and the rest of Fancy Flightless Fowls try and rotate on this onto the core call. We're going to see that flash charge of Flailing Swipe going to come out. The second charge rooted is Zombie. The third Flailing Swipe coming up. He down, will you go? And that will be GG's in the 2-0 victory for Fancy Flightless Fowls.
Oh my goodness, what a turnaround from Fancy Flightless Fowl to bring this series to a close 2-0. I can't believe they managed to turn around that game there. I thought for sure, you know, that was going to be the game bringing us to game number 3 from the side of Fox and his carries. But somehow, Fancy Flightless Fowl holding it down, managing to hang on, and turning it around with the win off the last Punisher.
Yeah, I mean, Silence and Tomb at 20 is, I mean, across all divisions, it's, you know, the level 20 upgrade is regarded as one of the best 20s in the game. And like you said, I think he learned his lesson with holding it up on the top there for far too long, that he was just able to, you know, screw it, you know, ETC is the engage for this team. If we can just catch him in the Entomb and just end it, then we should be okay.
All right, I'm going to hit up the team to see if they want to do an interview.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to jump into lobby 1.
Sounds good. I'll meet you there.
Hi, Tasty. How are you? We got Himmy in here too. Murder Rings. Welcome, everyone. All right, we do have Elfie in here right now. We just saw Elfie playing the gray main for Fancy Flightless Fowl, also the captain of Fancy Flightless Fowl. How are you feeling after that win?
The second game was a little bit more stressful. We did not play our best engages in a couple team fights, but thankfully we turned it around and we were able to just focus down what we needed to do and just kill that ETC immediately every fight.
So,
it worked out a lot better.
Tell me a little bit about your comms there. You know, you're losing your keeps. You've lost all your forage. You haven't grabbed any structures. What's your team saying to get yourself back in this game?
Well, it was a lot of coaching from me and Batman as well. We were just trying to get our rotations, and we were trying to take fights when we couldn't, or just out of position. We just needed to be patient. Since we were behind, we just needed to wait till we were even talent tier and fight on even terms. And once we did, we were able to actually get it done, so which is good.
How hectic were comms at the end there when they were trying to do the defense on the core?
Surprisingly not that bad. We were kind of expecting what they were going to do, trying to pull it away, as long as we just kept focus. And once we got that isolation on ETC, it was just game over from there. That's what we were waiting for, one of them just slip out of a position.
All right, now both games you guys banned out Anna, Diva, and Urel. Were those target bans onto Fox and his carries, or are those just heroes you guys don't want to have to play against? What was your thinking with those bans?
Well, aside from the fact that that's what we saw from our scouting, they're also all three heroes we don't want to deal in general. They're all just really good. We noticed that they played Diana pretty much every single series, and it's one of their like mainstays. And we wanted to just hamper that as well as the Urel, which we know they have in their kit, and it's just always good in every scenario. So.
Dax, do you have some questions?
No, actually, I want to go back to game one and just the Diablo just getting all the charges. Was it, maybe Hanzo's positioning, or the fact that it was Fox on the Hanzo and you just wanted, and the team's has his name in it? Was there a call like that coming into this game?
I just trust Gingy Boy's instincts on Diablo, especially on those maps where there's so many walls. They didn't really have any percent damage, so they didn't really have a great way to kill the Diablo late game. So once we were able to just get any kind of stun with our burst with Tassadar and Vala, they were just deleted. He kind of just exerted his will on the game and did what he wanted, which is nice.
Yeah, I mean, as we saw, I mean, I know Jazzy did a great job just calling that Diablo ban coming out against you guys there in game 2.
It was very funny because they target banned me the first game, and then they target banned Gingy Boy the next game. It was beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, 100% win rate for you on the Grey main on this season, and that continues for you here tonight, taking the 2-0 victory.
Definitely. I mean, it was the Grey main's all right, but our second game was just a lot of call-outs from our Leoric, and just him being able to soak us back to 20. He was the one that really directed us, especially on that last game, to just be patient and not take fights when we did need to. So, hats off to both Gingy Boy and Batman for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Any questions or anything?
Yeah, I actually do have a couple more here. And I don't know if you can answer them, but if not, I do see Gingy Mex is in chat. I wanted to ask a little bit about the Orphea build. Typically, and especially with an Leoric and Tomb, we see Eternal Feast crowd, but additionally at level 7, opting to go with the Mind Devour instead of the Chomp. Can you just speak a little bit as to why you go why the Orphea went that build, if you know? If not, maybe Gingy Mex will answer in chat or pop in here himself.
He might answer in chat because I'm not super familiar with Orphea and her builds. Okay. I know the job is generally it, but I guess it's just a comfort pick in his case. Let me see what that level 7 does again. The Mind of... Yeah, I guess it's just to be able to stay safe. I understand, just because you have the Cassia, the ETC Blaze, and all the dive, so I imagine it's for when we were trying to get those entombs from wrong range and just guaranteeing some damage on top of it. Just because they had so much dive. I guess it's a personal pick, I imagine, but that's for him to answer.
And do you think that's the same with the Crushing Jaw? I mean, usually you have the dirty bathtub combo with the Eternal Feast or the Eternal Feast Entomb, but instead we ended up with Crushing Jaws, and he says in chat that he likes the poke.
I like Crushing Jaws in this case just because I'd rather guarantee an interrupt on Mosh or any of the other things instead of the extra damage, because I felt we had more than enough damage to kill anything that was entombed. We didn't really need the Eternal Feast, I think.
All right. Yeah. Well, let's get into some shout-outs here. Anyone you would like to shout out before we wrap up the interview?
Absolutely. Gingy Boy on his Diablo in the first game carried the hell out of us, and then Leoric Batman on the second game absolutely soaking out his mind and helping with direction and shot calling. Those are the 2 MVPs of the series, so for us, I was just along for the ride.
What an exciting ride it was. Again, congrats on the win tonight. I wish you the best in the rest of Season 10 of NGS, and I look forward to seeing where your team goes, especially after getting to cast your last 2 games. It was really exciting to see you guys start to find your footing.
Absolutely. I'm excited for it, and I look forward to taking this and hopefully pulling away with the division if we can. That's what I want to do.
Well, good luck with
I'm rooting
that.
for you.
Yeah. All right, bye-bye.
Thank you, guys. Have a good one.
All right, I gotta get Dax back on the line real quick here. We'll wrap this up. All right, just give me a moment to set up your camera and we'll swap back over to us and finish off this series. But holy, what an exciting series it was.
Yeah, I mean, both of those games, really close. Maybe the second one for sure. Be able to pull that one out by the skin of their teeth there with, the post-level 20 fight and catching that ETC twice in the back-to-back team fights there. But, both these teams, a lot going on for them. And I look to see, just excited to see how the rest of the season plays out. We're at the halfway point now.
Yeah, I'm excited as well for both of these teams. I mean, Fox and his carries easily could have taken game number 2, and who knows who it would have went to if we made it to a game number 3. So I wouldn't count them down and out at all here. Very close series, even though it ended in a 2-0. God, I think that was one of the most exciting games I've casted so far.
Yeah, I mean, and just looking at it, I mean, it's, these teams out of 7, 5 and 6, 5 for fancy Flightless Fowls, and Fox and his carries in 6th place, working their way into this both at 5 points, respectfully. But I mean, with that win, 3 points going over to fancy Flightless Fowls puts them tied for first place with Minion Miners and Regen Retro, which are also at 8 points this week, probably pending games. It looks like this week, but. Yeah, I mean, they're going from 5th to 1st here with that domination.
I mean, last weekend, I don't know if you catch the 3-2-3 show that Smiley puts on, but last weekend when I was looking at this division's seedings, you saw Runnin' Wild and Fancy Flightless Fowl right down at the bottom. And then they pulled out the win last week against Runnin' Wild, and this week now they're grabbing a win on Fox and his carries. So they're starting to kind of like pull a little bit away from the bottom seeds there in this division. I'm really excited for them to finally get their footing and pull some wins out here. So I wish both these teams the best of luck. But Dax, where can people find you? Let's give you a shout out before we wrap this up.
Thank you. No, thank you. All the shout outs go to you, Jazzy. I always have a blast casting with you. Can't thank you enough for letting me join you for these NGS games. But yeah, the best place to find me, Dax_Hots on Twitter. I'm usually pretty active there. I'm in Jazzy's Discord a lot, as well as the NGS Discord. Tuesdays I cast another show for the NGS as the Nexus Edge. That usually goes live about 7 p.m. Eastern time, 4 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. And we just it's a all around good show, kind of sports center. We want it to be kind of sports center like, a little fun. We play some games, talk about the NGS and kind of the happenings around the league.
All right, and obviously you found your way here, so if you guys enjoy Casted Hots games, make sure to hit that follow button. But additionally to that, I would just like to remind you guys that on October 18th, Girls Gang Squad, in affiliation with NGS, will be running a Heroes of the Storm charity tournament, raising money for Breast Cancer Research Foundation, as it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So if you guys would like to catch the games casted here on October 18th, they start at 12 p.m. Pacific time, and there's just a ton of ladies from the Heroes of the Storm community gathering to help raise money for a really good cause, and I'm sure we would all love if you came out and supported them and cheered them on. We also have some real fun people coming to cast the matches. So keep an eye out for a little, you know, announcement promo of who the casters are going to be for the charity tournament. Last time it was Lexi and I, but it was a bit too much for us to cast all of the games for the entire day. We were really burnt out by the end of the day. So we're going to add on a couple more casters to help us out this time around, and I'm kind of excited about it. So keep an eye out for that announcement. Make sure to come support the charity stream on October 18th at 12 p.m. Pacific time. Hope to see you there. Maybe spare some coffee money for a good cause. Yeah, it's kind of an annual thing now. Last year, Girls Gang Squad did a whole weekend stream where it was just like the whole like 72 hours straight streaming and raided over people, and I think we raised something like a little over $7,000 for
That's amazing
for BCRF. This weekend we're just going with the one-day charity tournament like we did back in July for Rain, if you caught that one. So yeah, be sure to check it out if you're interested in getting involved. If you're a lady yourself and want to come play in the charity tournament, please reach out to me on Twitter, Discord, wherever you can find me. I will point you in the right direction, get you an invite, make sure you're all set up, and answer any of your questions. You can also reach out to Slexia. She has all the information as well and is kind of my right-hand woman in setting all of this stuff up. But yeah, other than that, I will be back tomorrow. Gonna be casting the Division B West game between Uwu and Cosmos at 7 p.m. Pacific time. Salvaje will be joining me as my co-caster tomorrow if you want to catch that. And then Wednesday...
Ooh, absolutely.
Yeah, Wednesday doing a doubleheader with Dax once again. So come back and catch me then. I think that's... I guess 6:30, I believe. 6:30 and 8:30 are the games we're doing Wednesday. So those are the next couple casts for the next couple days, so make sure to come drop by and check those out. Until then, have a fantastic rest of your evenings, and I hope to see you guys again tomorrow. GG's to the winners tonight.
Absolutely. Goodbye.